If you're wondering how to get your first job as an international student in Australia, then this video is for you. If it's your first time here, subscribe to the channel below and let's get started. So this is probably the most common question for international students in Australia is, how can I get a job? What is the first step I can take to get a job? You might be overseas or you might be in Australia trying to get your first job. So here I'm going to outline for you the steps you want to take to get your first job in Australia. First, get a hospitality or retail job. Now I know this may sound like common sense, but you have to secure yourself financially before you think about applying for a professional job. The reason for that is hospitality and retail jobs are very common in Australia. If you're an international student, you can do this job even if it's just a part-time job, because what that gives you is the freedom financially, so you don't have to rely on a professional job. You're not frustrated when you get a rejection from a job, but more importantly, you have local experience. Local experience is really important in Australia. You might be a professional back home, but being in Australia and being employed in Australia, local experience is what's going to set you apart. Even if it's not in the same field of your profession, local experience still counts towards your resume. So first thing first, get that retail and hospitality job. As to how to get a retail hospitality job, it's a really simple formula. You print a one-page resume that has your availability, make it really simple and easy to read, go directly to the manager in the shops, cafes, restaurants, ask them if they're looking for people. A lot of times, these jobs are taken on the spot. So you apply in person and ask for the manager and have a conversation about your availability, your experience. Some of the hospitality and retail jobs in Australia will require RSA, which is Responsible Service of Alcohol. It's a short course you can do, really easy, but that really sets you apart to get your first retail or hospitality job. The second step you want to take to get your first job in Australia, after you secured yourself financially with a retail or hospitality job, is to get your resume professionally reviewed. Now, this is really crucial and a really important aspect of getting a job, because with a really bad resume, no matter how many applications you apply for, the result will always be the same. You're going to get the rejection, or worse yet, they might not get back to you at all. So it's really important to get your resume professionally reviewed. We've covered resume writing in many videos. I'll include some of the links here, but in essence, you want your resume to be readable, relevant, and reviewed. Readable, so it's really easy to read for a person and the software. Relevant, meaning the resume you're applying for is just for that job. It's not everything you've done in your life. And reviewed, of course, you don't want any spelling or grammar mistakes in the resume. So make it readable, relevant, and reviewed. Definitely no photos, no personal information, no referees in Australia unless they ask you for it, no extracurricular activities if they're not relevant, no volunteering if you're gonna include 2 pages of it, no graphs, definitely no tables. Keep it really short. You really want your resume to be the best it can be to match the software and match that job when a person reads it. So get your resume professionally reviewed. The third step into getting your first professional job in Australia is getting a good LinkedIn, being on LinkedIn. We've talked about it in detail in many of our videos, but in short, having a good LinkedIn is a must, because what the employer is going to do is they're going to Google your name and LinkedIn will be the first or second result that comes all the time. So it's really important to have good online presence. Not only that, a lot of these professional jobs are first published on LinkedIn. They're posted on LinkedIn, and that gives you a chance to be among the first people to apply for them if you have a good LinkedIn. The other reason you really want to be on LinkedIn is the fact that 70 to 80% of jobs are never advertised. They are referred to via your network. So your network and connections you make during your university, your experience, your internship, your volunteering gets you jobs. And the way to have all of your network in one place is on LinkedIn. So that's why it's really crucial to have a really good LinkedIn. The fourth and last step into getting a professional job in Australia is about having a good strategy. Now, obviously this strategy is different depending on the field you're in, but the key things are, don't focus on quantity, how many applications you submit a day. Focus more on the quality of application. If there is an option to include a cover letter, include a cover letter. If there is an option to tailor your resume further, make sure you put that extra effort and tailor. If there is a name of the person and you have them on LinkedIn, message the recruiter directly. Going the extra bit really makes a difference in your application, because every graduate, every international student is applying to hundreds of jobs on Seek, on LinkedIn, on all of these platforms. And having quality over quantity really makes a difference for you in the job search. The last thing I really want to mention about job strategy is avoiding the big companies. Now, I mean it. If you're in Australia and you're an international student, you would notice that big companies have a clear bias against visa holders and international students. Now, it's not impossible to get there, just means it's going to be a lot harder because of the higher competition. competition. What I want you to do as an international student is focus on the small and medium companies, because as the Australian Bureau of Statistics says, it is 98% of businesses in Australia. So 98% of businesses in Australia are small and medium, meaning they're employing less than 20 employees. So you really want to have small and medium businesses in your strategy for applying for jobs. Of course, you're not going to always find them on LinkedIn, but that's why you have to be a bit creative in your networking, in your Googling, in going to events, in being in the startups, because applying to small and medium companies can be very beneficial for you, for your career, in terms of exposure, in terms of autonomy over your role, in terms of experience, and more importantly, in terms of chances, because not many students, especially international students, are applying to these companies. So avoid the big companies and focus mostly on small and medium companies and see where the next job takes you. Really interested to hear what your biggest challenge is as an international student in Australia in finding your first job. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one.